I'm organist, and I'm now the choir master here, the music director, you can say so, for the church music in the basilica here. That's my first profession, you can say. I was here, he began here as an organist, and that was his position. He was a so-called provisorischer Stiftsorganist. That means he was not a member of the Augustinian monks here inside, so he got this provisorischen Organisten. That was the title of his job, of his official job here. When you visit this house, this monastery, and you have a guided tour, you have long trips to go, long passages inside, and large Baroque stairs. You were going up and down, and it needs its time to visit this house. You need a lot of time. It's the same thing, I think, like in the symphonies of Bruckner. I think he was very impressed of it, and he was influenced by this building and by this architecture. I think so. If you are hearing a symphony of Bruckner, you will going through the halls and through the stairs and the long passages too. It needs a long time. And I think that could be a relationship between these 2 points. He wanted to be here. He wanted to be here in this house, and he wanted to play his organ. So it is the so-called Bruckner organ today, and he wanted to hear this instrument and to play it and to improvise. And when he was here in this house, every time he played the masses, and he wanted to do so. Like in the Easter time he was here, in summertime he was here, and every time he wanted to play, to improvise, and to get new themes. You have to imagine you have 4 manuals here, and when an organist is playing or improvising, especially improvising, he uses different manuals, of course, when it is a good player. And you have dynamic terraces, you can say. So you can use one of these manuals for some instruments, for some special effects. And you can use the other one for softer sounds, and so you can change between it, and you can switch from one to the other. And I think that Bruckner's way for orchestration and way for developing the themes is coming up from this point of improvisation. He wrote this Fifth Symphony in a period, you can say, of sadness, of disappointment, of frustration, because he ran out of money in Vienna, and he was not able, in fact, he was not able to get his Fourth Symphony, to get it copied, because he had no money. And you have to consider, he came here from this rural area to Vienna, the great capital, and you have a new language of music. It's unbelievable to succeed with these circumstances. With an orchestra, you need connections, you need money, you need experience with it. And there is one fact Bruckner conducted himself when such rehearsals were there. And that was not very good for the orchestra and for your impression of this work, because I think he was not a very good conductor. What the instruments have to play is not easy and not usual for this time, especially the brass, the trombones, the tuba, the trumpet, the horns, the horrible passages, until today, you can say. Let's think about the Fourth Symphony, the beginning with the horn. It is a horrible passage for an hornist to have it. And they were not used to play such long phrases and such complicated harmonies. It is very, very difficult to tune this, to get the right tuning in this harmonic speech. It's the same. The main problem for today too. There's nothing changed. The Fifth Symphony doesn't reflect this sadness or this disappointment, this is frustration. The Fifth Symphony is you can say, it shows the confidence in God. It shows it's a very lucky piece, a very constructive piece, you can say. And it's the first one, and the only one of the symphonies with especially formal aspects, like the introduction. It's the only one with an introduction. At the beginning you have soft sounds like a carpet and some very short notes in the bass. And suddenly appears the choral theme. I will play it here with the reeds, with the trumpets here. Only with the trumpets. It's like a choir, like a brass ensemble in the orchestra. I'll show you. This is one of the main effects that Bruckner uses in the Fifth Symphony, in the orchestration, of course, because he uses every time the wind instruments, especially the brass ensemble, like a choir. It's like a choir, or you can describe it like an organ stop. Yes, the organ stop, and then the brass is playing this choral theme, only the brass. And this is an effect of you can have from the organ. Another connection to the organ is the thing that we have a fugue, a great fugue with a climax. For the organists, fugues is a daily playing fugues. Of course, in every education of organists, they have to play fugues, of course, of Bach and studying Bach. And Bruckner did so too, of course. He tried every day between 12 and 2 o'clock, when the church was not used for services. He had the possibility to play the small organs there, and he did so. Every day he was there and he was practicing fugues and counterpoint. On this organ, several themes of his great symphonies were born here by improvising. What he did there in the final, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable counterpoint, and he tries all possibilities, all experiments what is possible with this theme, and this theme is not easy. And you can see every combinations, every developments with this theme, and you have to imagine this is a final about more than 630 bars. A fugue, it's one of the largest fugues we have ever written. You have 3 themes in this fugue, the main theme and the choral theme and a counterpoint. And these 3 themes are combined more and more unto the great choral theme with the brass, played by the brass instrument in the end. can be sure that Bruckner was very confident in God, and it was along to his whole life. And every time in his life he returned here to St. Florian to work and to make his holidays with his symphonies, you can say. Yeah? He was influenced by the monks, and he was influenced by the house, of course he was. When you're going through the passages of the monastery, the stairs and the long ways, you can feel it, of course. Yeah. He is under this organ, he was buried there. It was his own wish to get here buried, and in 1896 he come here from Vienna, and he's here under his organ. No, he's not a ghost, of course. There was a story about the Mass in F minor, which was with Celibidache here in St. Florian. It was performed here, and in the end, during a longer break, this telephone is going on, and nobody knows who was it. And of course it was Tony. He called up, said, no, that's not the right version of my Mass. That's the story, yeah, it's about it. There are several stories about this. Yeah. As a human being, he was not so intellectual, I think, but his music is. That is a very interesting point, I think. It was all in him. It was his language, the music. What he has to say, he wrote down, and you can hear it out. It was his intellectual concept, I think. Only this, not to discuss, to analyze, not to make some stories about his music. No, this was written. That is his intellectual.